Keeping venomous reptiles is an unforgiving hobby, requiring proper training and lots of experience. One simple mistake can be the difference between life and death. Remember, the most venomous snake in the world is the one that just bit you. There are no venomous snakes with training wheels. Just because you see Viperkeeper handle snakes a certain way does not mean you should try it too.
Some eggs in the Egyptian Sawscale viper cage. Take a bite. Well, you're persistent.
Here comes the other one.
Some of these are a bit desiccated, but we'll give them a shot anyway. Alright, now that we're safe, some of the ones under there that are protected are probably okay. We'll give them a little extra water to see if they perk up. These are Echis eggs, therefore they're a little bit sturdier than other sort of tropical snakes. If I would have known, I would have put a lay box in there with a little bit more moisture. But their brother and sister, which I really don't necessarily like inbreeding, but it's just convenient to keep them together. So we'll see what happens.
I bet she's hungry.
Oh, well, that's why I think she's been really famished for a while now. We'll get this up and running. Put some water in the tray here for humidity, and I'll look up my Echis notes to make sure the temperature is set correctly. Echis pyramidum eggs are really sort of rare to get because the wild-caught males seem to be sterile after a while that they're in captivity. So, yeah, it's a bit unusual, and obviously somebody is very hungry.
Yes. Please feed me.
Okay, so let's carry on with the day. We'll see what the set point is. It's 31, which is, I think, about right. I don't change the temperature much, so that'll heat up, and hopefully the snakes will heat up the eggs, and we'll see what happens down the road a bit. Well, now we have Thud Jr. That's what I've named this guy. Missing the mark, dude. Oh, there you go. Oh, but that'll be fun for you to eat. But I think he'll be able to snake okay, I think. Ringed water cobras are just really fantastic. I sent the group of 4 that I raised up off to the Kentucky Reptile Zoo because they didn't have ringed water cobras in their collection, and so Jim and Kristen have them now. They should be able to get some breeding going there and produce some for the ringed water cobra's venom is very unique in the cobra world. Unlike a Naya Cayuthia or an Indian cobra, or practically you name it, sort of cobra. Cobras that have this big hood display and threat display before they bite you have much more much more of a, in addition to the neurotoxins in the venom, they have serious cytotoxins which cause tissue necrosis and terrible loss of tissue. And this was a paper by Brian Fry did, comparing the venoms of cobras that did this very elaborate display, you know, with the hooding and the swaying and all this stuff, versus a cobra like the water cobra, which doesn't really put on a threat display, has more of a camouflage pattern, and doesn't really hood very much at all, although they do have a small hood, but nothing like, you know, Naya Cayuthia or Naya. The water cobras have just virtually pure neurotoxic venom and doesn't have any pain-inducing compounds like Naya Cayuthia. Oh, you're going to be in a world of hurt after you get bit, or Naya, like we saw our good buddy there get bit by the Naya while he was in India. I won't name any names, but yeah, that was a lot of causes of instantaneous pain, swelling, potential necrosis. You know, I know of several Naya Cayuthia bites and Naya bites where basically you lost all the tissue all the way down to the tendons, and that takes a long time with lots of skin grafting to heal, whereas the water cobras have a completely neurotoxic bite, which is dangerous, but at least you're spared the pain and the months of agony and reconstructive surgery and perhaps even the total loss of a hand or a finger. That won't happen with an envenomation for one of these guys. You could go into respiratory arrest, but that can be generally managed pretty well at the hospital. South African polyvalent works well. The Interserp product works very well. So there's anti-venoms that, you know, will easily counteract the neurotoxins in the venom. But they're very unique in the cobra world, the Naya world. I see he's not doing anything as far as eating because the door is open, and for some reason they have this false impression that I'm going to reach in and grab them when they get their mouth full or annoy them in some way. And believe me, I'm not going to do that because I don't harass my animals. I'll shut the door, let you eat your dinner, and we'll let you be. Well, this Bitis cordalis, which is presumably the female, was out and about earlier, and the shedding was already here, but she was up front and was going to offer her something to eat, but she's now in her hut.
Oh, okay.
I located her in her hut before I opened the glass. So I don't know if she's going to poke her head out, but I will definitely poke this in the doorway of the hut and see if it will cause any reaction. Apparently not, so we're just going to leave that there. However, the other one is here in front. Well, that was shake and bake time, huh? You're going to have trouble eating it by folding it in half. You do have a eating problem there. So again, this is Bitis cordalis. It's one of the 6 or 7 different dwarf Bitis species. They're always quite variable and beautiful, and and certainly easier to house and care for than the adult large Bitis group, like rhino viper, like gaboon vipers, parviocula, puff adders. They're much easier to work with because they're diminutive. That, however, does not mean that they can't put you in a world of hurt. They have all the niceties that all the large species have as far as venom components, hemorrhagins, cytotoxins, necrotoxins. You're guaranteed to lose a little chunk of tissue, maybe a fingertip if you get bit in the fingertip. Probably not going to lose your life, although you will wish that you were dead for several days. None of the antivenoms currently work very well on their venom, and since they're such small species and don't factor into a medically significant bite, there's no specific antivenom that they created for it, because antivenoms cost a lot of money to create and get licensed and get out there for a few bites a year, and bites that really don't take a large amount of medical care to care for the patient. Just probably 24 hours observation and some wound care thereafter, and you're good to go. You're going to sort of drag that around until you've decided that you have it in a position that you can work with it. But from my point of view, there is no position that you can work with that in.
She's going to need to drop that and try again. But probably won't.
Probably won't.
Very stubborn.
You can see the cute little horns on the top of their head. That's why they're called horn adders. Obviously. It's like, okay, who's buried in Grant's tomb? Yes, General Grant. Well, these are called horn adders for a reason, and that reason is they've got horns. All right, we'll let you do your thing, and we won't embarrass you by filming the whole struggle to eat that morsel. It looks like you got it stuck in your mouth, like, in the old cartoons where they put a stick in a crocodile's mouth and it can't close it and stuff. That's what this guy looks like. I'm sorry to disturb you.
Do you need some help with that?
I don't know, but I'm not offering. Okay, that's enough. Let's oh, you dropped it. That's the best thing that you can do. He's not going to forget that the food is there. He'll come back for it later.